Tony, how are you feeling about the U.S. going into this game?
Yeah, I think I said yesterday, I think I like most about this particular group is they've gotten better as the competition has gone on. I understand France was the toughest game in match day one, but I like the ideas. I like where they're going with it. They look free. They look like they're enjoying their play and enjoy playing with each other. So that's all positive. And Paredes, who was really good in that last match, we kind of needed him to grow into this competition. He gets 2 goals, so hopefully that sparks him moving forward. But this Moroccan side is a pretty good side, and we saw it on match day 1 for them against Argentina, where I watched that one start to finish. One of the games I almost couldn't turn off because of everything that was happening, and then it finishes a couple hours later in the end. But they're a really solid side.
I echo everything you're saying. I wouldn't go as far to say it's a success when you lose.
Getting out of the group for the first time in 24 years? We measure this men's team differently.
Those are stats. Like, I'm looking at
the team. Okay.
Sure, but I'm looking at what happened on the field in the group stage. You beat 2 really bad teams that you're expected to beat, and you beat them with a lot of personality, and that's great for the U.S. You expect the U.S. to do that, and you lost to a better team. And then if you lose to Morocco, if you're success, I think, is beating Morocco. If you succeed, you have to go past the expectations. It goes back. I'll harken back to the whole conversation we had at the World Cup with the senior team. You beat the teams you're supposed to beat. You lost the teams that people thought you were going to lose to. I can't qualify that as success. You did all right. Thumbs up. You competed. You did what you needed to do. I think as a collective, there needs to be a responsibility that we should expect these players and these teams to achieve.
In 22, for me, if you're going to make that argument, I got exactly what I expected from the U.S. side. It's exactly where I expected them to be. Here, I'm sorry, Alan, they're in the place I expect them to be right now.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
For me, I expected them to get out of this group.
If they lose to Morocco, is this a pass or fail? If that's your only option,
pass
or fail.
But
and I think that goes back to the argument.
That's too easy for a U.S. national team at an Olympics. That's too easy for grade.
Let me finish, and I think you'll understand where I'm coming from. If the question is, did they pass or fail? We have to say it's a pass. Did they exceed your expectations? Did they shine above what you expected? No. I think all 3 of us agree. This is what we thought would happen.
Bare minimum.
But you didn't surprise me. Go out against this Morocco team, surprise me. If not, okay, you got out of the group. That's good. So it's not good enough.
If they lose against Morocco, is it pass or fail? When we go to the, I don't know the answer yet for me. When we go to the Olympics in any sport, what's the expectation?
Medal.
Whereas we're going to be we're going to win a medal, right? And I think that is pass for me for this side. When I think about the Olympics, under 23, essentially under 23 tournament with some overage players. That one, I still don't know the answer.
Going into this, your expectation was that they would medal the U.S.?
Yeah, I mean, you get out of the group, you're in the quarterfinals.
You just got to win one more game and you're playing for a medal.
One game to have a chance to play for a medal.
Yeah, I completely agree.
You know what I mean? So
you convinced me, Tony.
I want to say pass because we haven't done it for how many years?
This is the first time in 24 years the U.S. have advanced to the knockout stage.
Okay, so I want to say pass because of that, but I had expectations in the last 24 years that we would have done this already. You know?
Correct. Right. Previous fails doesn't make this automatically a pass. But if you're grading on a curve, you kind of got to say
there's no curve here. There's no curve here. There's a reality. You played 3 games. You lost pretty badly. The result says you lost pretty badly against France, and you won the next 2 games. All right, this is a challenge. It's the quarterfinals of the Olympics. The U.S., just like in any other sport, obviously there are greater advantages that the U.S. has in other sports, but we're at the Olympics. You want to medal. You want to walk home. These guys want to walk home for a medal. These guys, if they lose, you know what? If they lose to Morocco, the 18 players on the squad, they will have felt like they failed their objective.
Absolutely.
And I think, and that's what matters most. And I don't want to, we need to walk away from sugarcoating and tossing flowers when flowers aren't deserved. The U.S. doesn't, I'm going to go back and I'm going to agree with Tony. If the U.S. doesn't beat Morocco, we didn't end up achieving the objective, which is a medal. And that's the standard that as a footballing nation, we should hold every single one of our national teams, because we have infrastructures in place, we have money that's being invested into our sport. That's our standard that we should hold our teams at.
And look, I don't
want to be soft on these national teams because it's like a pass, and we want to be nice.
I don't disagree with either of you. But we're also not the only country that has infrastructure and money being poured into the sport. So for me, it's really hard. Separate from that.
That's the nature of competition, though.
But for me, in particular, it's really hard to look at this and separate it from the greater picture of U.S. men's national team and the U.S. men's soccer program. It's just hard. It's just hard for me to look at this and not think about what's happened in the recent history. So I'm going to go and say it may be a light pass. It may be barely a pass. But for me, it's a pass. You didn't shine. I'm not walking away with a ton of confidence and saying we're on the right path. But at least this isn't yet another failure, another stinker of a job. I walk away feeling that if we lose to Morocco. I'm not happy. I'm not proud. But at least I'm not sad. Does that make sense?
This team hasn't done poorly, all right? They haven't done poorly in this competition.
No.
The question was, where you draw the line, basically, on is this a pass or fail for this team? I find, for me personally, I find it hard to equate anything that this team does with the U.S. men's national team. Like anything that happened in the summer. I look at this, I want to say it's a youth tournament, right, with pros that play. I mean, that's unfortunately or fortunately the moment we're in world football, and all these guys are making pros at 18 years old. So this is a youth tournament in air quotes with guys that are playing at professional level. I'm like I said from the start though, I'm happy with where they're going right now. Right, but now you got to take the
I'm
next
also
step.
exid with what I'm seeing from some of the bench
No
players.
doubt, no doubt.
Yao in particular just shining. Paredes getting it together on a somewhere on the pitch that he normally doesn't play. There's a lot of really positives to take from what's happening.
And look, similarly, let's look at it from the Moroccan perspective. If Morocco goes out to the U.S., that's unarguably got to be seen as a failure.
Abject failure,
obviously,
for
right?
sure.
Because they were so good in the group stage. But that's the nature.
They
that's
beat
the nature of
Argentina.
football.
They finished top of the group.
At the same time, there could be positive feelings. All right, it wasn't a great game against the United States or Morocco, and you end up losing, right? But there's a certain standard Moroccans hold themselves at. There's a certain standard we must hold ourselves at. And this is the next big test for this group, is a very difficult game against Morocco.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. And I think rising our expectations and demanding that in general often breeds more success. So I'm with you. And I get why you would be able to separate it. Maybe you're just better than I am at being able to compartmentalize. But for me, it's all the same. It's all under the same umbrella. And I take what's happened in the past, and I have to adjust my expectations moving forward.
So what if the United States got out of the group in the Copa America? Then you wouldn't have been okay with the U.S. losing in the quarterfinals of the Olympics?
I don't know what you mean. You think ratio? You think
right?
You're I don't. No.
If there's enough apples here, you're okay with less oranges here. There's
I actually think that would have raised my expectations for this.
And then I would have asked for a banana. No.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we think?
Let's be honest. I'm not asking for any fruit. You know what I mean? I'm going for a bag of chips.
I can understand how fans would feel that way. There's no question, right? Does U.S. soccer need good vibes? Yeah, they need it from the men. They needed it from the women, right? The women, think about what happened at the World Cup, right? They need this competition to be
absolutely.
good.
I'm combining those
even
two
the
as
women
well.
haven't done anything yet.
The difference for me is that the women's is a full national team tournament where this one's not. So that's where me personally,
different teams.
I get the waters get muddied a little bit for me.
When it comes to talking about Copa America and this competition in the same breath, yes.
But we've all said that the senior team didn't play to our expectations, isn't good enough, needs more pressure. These players are written in pen into the lineup where they should be written in pencil, and there should be more. Well, then part of that is, who's up next? Who's going to put pressure on these senior team players? Who's going to try to get on this team? Who's going to make them scared that, every training I need to go 100% because there's a kid behind me ready to go? I'm seeing some folks that are at least asking some questions that are at least, to me, getting in that picture. I'm drawing positives from what's happening here.
We all are. I think we all are drawing positives.
Once again, we're all speaking loudly while agreeing.
And that's why I think you raise a great point. But at the same time, there's forms and there's results, which is the reality of this business, and results speak louder than form, sadly, because it's the headline, right? That's what you see. If the U.S. goes out to Morocco playing well, but we lose, we didn't achieve, we were far from achieving our goal, which is getting a medal, but there are positive signs. We drew a lot of positives, but again, as a collective, we have to demand not positive signs. Those positive signs need to get results.
And to that point, I could also argue the other side. Again, we're all in agreement for the most part. I think 90%. I could argue the other part, that this team magically makes their way into a medal. Let's say it's a silver medal in this competition. That doesn't change the quality of the players. That doesn't change the quality of the pool of players we have. We got results, but that doesn't make their FIFA card score higher magically because they won a medal. Do you get the point I'm taking? When I'm looking at this as a whole,
but in reality, that gives you experiences that will form you. Than crashing out at a quarterfinal.
Sure, it doesn't change a player's first touch. It doesn't change a player's ability in front of goal. In a way,
but it changes your player's mentality, which can take you so much further. They'll touch will get better, their technique will get better as they become more entrenched in their professionalism, because these are young guys. But
there's positives for the result.
Playing for a gold medal changes something here. And I mean, you played at this level, Tony. The way that opportunity can unlock a whole different type of mindset and give you an experience that then you could take to the senior national team. And everything you were asking for, that can definitely change.
Right. There's a potential there, for sure.
Play beautiful, best game of your life and get knocked out, or play poorly and move on to the semifinals?
How much money do I get for winning?
There's only one answer in this thing. There's only one answer here.
Well, we can debate whether or not this has been a success for the U.S. in the Olympics, but I think this conversation was a success. Good points you made, guys.